everybody. Welcome to Movies Are Real for the month of June 2K24. I am George, incredibly eepy and sleeping on my duties as a host of this podcast because I'm looking at this list of movies, folks, and I've seen one of them. Ryan Lance, a person who's done a lot better job than me. How are you doing?
I'm watching the Watch movies.
I'm
watching that'll make sense when we get to our first movie.
Okay, great. Well,
I'm very clever and interesting.
It's about watches.
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone keep that segue in mind.
We have a Rolex watch ad. We really struck gold with our first big sponsorship.
Us and the Oscars is the only Carrie, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I went to the theater a lot, but a lot of times I was seeing older
Yeah, me
movies.
too. I saw a lot of old films.
So.
Sorry, folks. For my thoughts on The Cook, The Thief,
Oof.
oh god,
His
wife and her lover.
lover.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say about that, sadly.
Great movie.
Good movie, turns out, though. June. I mean, it's a summer. I mean, I guess the biggest movie of June that we did not see is Inside Out 2. Unless, was that, right? That was June, right?
Yeah.
That was June, yeah.
Did none of us watch that, actually?
No,
That seems like something you would get dragged to.
Yes, I wanted to, but I knew it would be on Disney Plus soon, and I didn't want to be in a theater full of children.
Wow.
Listen, I have no problems with children. They just need to shut up.
Yeah.
Just shut up.
Watching the Baby Day screening of Long
I
Legs.
saw
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about, I should go to Long Legs again. I was like, what the fuck is Baby Day?
Listen, struggling moms need time to watch.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
Long
I just
Legs.
didn't know that was a thing.
That is a thing. So you did not watch Inside Out. So yeah, apparently that's a movie that has saved cinema. Just that one has
Apparently.
saved the box office.
It made $1 billion somehow.
Yeah.
There's another movie I don't know a single person who's seen, and yet it's done well. But I guess it's like kids.
I think well, I don't know. It must be it's got to be a mixture of enough, like, people do need to do something with their kids still, and like, fuck it, I know this movie's gonna come to Disney Plus eventually, but fuck it, let's just do it now. It's too fucking hot.
Yeah.
I'll stay in an air conditioning room to fucking watch Inside Out 2. So yeah, but we're not here to talk about that, folks. We're here to talk about our first movie, The Watchers, by Ishana Knight, Shyamalan, starring Dakota Fanning, and I don't know anyone else in this. Oliver Finnegan. Huh, interesting. I thought it said Oliver Flanagan for a second.
Whoa.
Folks, I have not seen The Watchers, and I've decided up to this point right here on this podcast that after we describe what this movie is, I'm fine with Carrie and Ryan spoiling this movie for me.
Oh, okay.
But The Watchers, Dakota Fanning, she's in a forest, and then she's in a little cube, and then she's like, they're watching us, and we're watching them. And that's all. And that was a pretty good trailer. And then the second trailer was like, it was less, Carrie, what can you tell me about The Watchers? Pre-spoilers, I guess.
Well, we're following our main character, and she, is having a hard time because it's the anniversary of her mom's death. And she works at a pet shop, and the job that is given to her is there's a zoo that wants this bird that's at the pet shop. And her boss is like, I know it's a hard time of year for you. Why don't you just take the trip and drive this bird up to the zoo?
Oh.
And then she takes a weird route through these forests, and her car breaks, and her phone breaks, and her GPS breaks, and then she gets pulled into the cube.
Is the bird okay?
The bird's fine.
Okay, that's good.
Nothing happens to the bird.
Her and the bird join the people inside this viewing theater cube thing. And the older lady, you will know her from Mandy. She was the old lady in Mandy. And I think the lady from Barbarian was one of the other ladies.
Yes.
Whoa.
I did not recognize the...
Like the lady who was getting the Airbnb? Oh,
yes,
okay.
that was...
lady.
I believe that was Georgina Campbell. Is that right?
Okay.
But
it's okay.
But yeah, she enters the theater and is immediately met with all of these rules and how things gotta be, and they gotta be in the cube at night, and they have to be presented to these mystery beings that are outside.
Watching them.
They're being watched.
They have to be presented in a way that they could view them properly all night. You know, they can't like hide behind the sofa or something.
Yes.
And then it's a two-way. Well, it's a one-way like mirror, so like they can see out. Well, how does it work?
They see out when it's daytime. But
yes,
when it's
that's right.
They can't see out.
Yes, they just kind of see their reflections.
Okay, gotcha. Carrie, what'd you think of this movie?
I thought it was okay. It had some cool stuff in it. It was a little doofy and a little overlong, but I thought it was fun. It had some interesting ideas. Mm-hmm. Some of them were a little silly.
Ryan, before we spoil this, what did you think of this movie?
I liked it a lot less than Carrie, who thought it was just fine. It's one of those movies where it's wacky and weird, and it kind of just depends on like how that weird stuff is going to resonate with you, specifically on whether you're going to have a good time with it or not. For me, the main thing is it's very cliche in a lot of like uninteresting ways, like the character's motivation and you know the situations the characters get themselves in before things like really hit the fan just feel so like, well, why are we following these rules now? And it's like, why are you complaining about this now of all times? And then, you know, some reveal stuff later is like, come on. And then, you know, the classic M. Night reveal, which is a family term now, just kind of didn't do nothing for me, personally speaking. And it was just like, okay, that's great.
And with that, folks, we're spoiling it. So skip like 2 minutes maybe. So what's the bit?
We find out that
the Watchers are fairies.
They're like fairy changeling type creatures. And the reason they're in this facility at all is they move the rug, and underneath the rug there's a lid to a bunker underneath there. And they go down there and they find all this research and theories and video logs from this professor guy who was studying these fairy beings and trying to learn about them. And so he created this viewing box. And what the fairies do is they watch the people, and with the end goal of eventually wanting to be a person, like to be able to emulate being a human person perfectly. And we find out that he wanted that because he wanted to capture a fairy because his wife had died. And he wanted a changeling to be his wife. Like, he wanted to make a changeling of his wife. But we also find out that the old lady who was with them the entire time, she's a changeling. And she has been the whole time.
Okay. Now, my wife, Donna Jo, said to me that the twist of this movie seemed very predictable, and I would have never guessed that there's fairies involved. Ryan, what are your thoughts on this twist?
Well, first off, there's just the annoyance of like there's a thing under them, under a rug, and no one thought of doing that for months. Silly,
yeah.
Like that, and like I don't like to be one of those like, well, why didn't they do that? But like that stuff like that is like, you gotta be kidding me, man. If you're living in one room, I wouldn't understand the whole room. And then like before like that final reveal of like, oh my god, she's a changeling, like the movie goes on for a while and you're like, where are we going with this?
Because like there's video logs from the professor guy and there's like 300 of them and they skip to the last one and he is on there. He like throughout his video logs he had like captured one of them and it was in a cage inside the thing and he was like, I'm working on it, it's working, it's gonna be a success. But at the very end, he's like, this is a mistake. Don't come here. If you see this, go to my office at the university, destroy all my findings. This was wrong. And I'm going to go kill it and myself. And he goes up and shoots himself, presumably shoots the other thing. And then the old lady had been like, oh yeah, I was the first one here and I found this and I know all of this. Yeah. I don't even remember how she justifies, because she was researching it too or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is still before they know that she is one of the things.
And she's a special thing because they can't go out during the day.
Yeah, she's a half fairy, half human.
Yeah, so that it's like an experiment or like his child. I don't know.
I don't fucking know. Because they don't figure out that she's one of them until Dakota Fanning goes to his office and destroys all this stuff and finds a photo of him and his wife. And
it says, my dead wife.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, crap. But yeah, that reveal just takes a while. It's weird. And the way that film tried to explain itself, like, just brings up more questions. Like, it has a whole thing. It's like, I built this by having 10 men come to the middle of the woods and build as much as they could until the night when they die.
Right. Then so the fairies kill people?
Yeah. Oh, they love it.
Okay. I was like,
they absolutely love it.
What's the scary thing about these fairies? They seem nice.
If you're out at night, they'll just rip you apart. They're like the Quiet Place guys. They just like run and just like go for it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Some of the parts that I liked were when we joined these characters, the girl from Barbarian, her husband had left a few days earlier, and they're still waiting for him to come back. And I really liked the part where, because they're trying to find him, but the fairies play tricks on them to try and get them to like open the door or do whatever. And a changeling of her husband comes up to the door and is acting really suspicious and weird, and she's like, that's my husband, and everyone's like, I'm not so sure about that. I like that part a lot.
That's a good idea. My favorite part, it was the door that says don't open, fairies inside.
But
and clearly the fairies clearly that door hadn't worked because the door was sealed, but there were still fairies everywhere. Very silly. I like that a lot.
It was a goofy movie.
It's very goofy.
Maybe I won't watch this after all. See, my thing was like, surely I was like convinced that the ending was gonna be so wild. I was like, well, I gotta figure how this goes, and now I'm like,
I mean, it's wild, like, cause like it's so like weird.
Yeah. It's just funny that this is a movie made by M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, and he like made Lady in the Water for them, and it's like, how many fucking weird ass fairy tales
are you telling these kids? Yeah, because that's what it sounds like. It sounds like, well, what if it was like a fairy?
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
So it's funny that this is the byproduct of how they were raised by M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. And it has some of the corny Shyamalan dialogue as well, like when she's driving up with the bird and she's talking to the bird, and Dakota Fanning has a whole backstory with how she feels responsible for the death of her mother, and so she does this thing where she puts on wigs and goes out to the bar and pretends to be someone else, and when she's driving up with the bird, she's like, don't judge me. You wouldn't like me if you knew the real me.
But she does it
to a bird.
She says it to the bird, and like she does it like the one time too. It's
so funny.
It's very strange.
Interesting. Well, that's The Watchers, folks. Sounds like not a crowd pleaser, I would imagine.
Probably not.
No. Anyways, I Used to Be Funny. New Rachel Sennott song. Movie. I think because I think I have the fact that she's in the 360 music video by Charlie XCX. Oh. I was like, yeah. Anyways, Brian, did you the one who saw this? Or
I saw this one, yes. Yeah. So I'll be quick with this, but this is a movie. Rachel Sennott is a stand-up comedian.
Whoa.
Who is going through some PTSD over, something that happened. It's clear that it's some sort of assault. Because she's like given up on that. She can't really she has trouble like leaving her house. But then one day a girl that she used to babysit goes missing, and she tries to pull herself out of that to help try to find where the girl's at. Mm-hmm. And it's a very good movie. I like this a lot. It was very very sad, but with the stand-up comedy angle, there is some humor and levity to that, despite the situations. And it's just a nice little movie. There is some assault stuff, so if you don't love seeing that, it is unpleasant. And just shout out to the weird people sitting behind me when I saw it, who talked the whole time and made some weird comments. She'd say the character would say something about how difficult, her life is after her sexual assault, and like, aww, like it was like a studio audience reaction, just like, ladies,
are you a baby?
Ladies, are you okay? And then also my favorite thing, because we go to the Alamo Draft House, and before they have like the no talking thing, they were both very confused by it, like, what is happening? And I'm like, what? Do I need to explain?
To be fair, I have gone to the Alamo Draft House, people who have not been, and they are very confused.
But like, I don't know.
I'm at the wrong place.
That new one that's like, attention.
Which I'm glad they made it more aggressive, because the lady before was too friendly.
Too nice. Yeah, no. Respect those around you. Bitch, we need to tell these people to shut the hell up.
A little tease for the future. I saw a letterbox review that someone said we need these Quiet Place monsters in the fucking theaters.
Oh, yes.
Apparently they're called Death Angels. I don't know.
Yes.
Yes.
You probably saw that same clip where Lupita's like, what is that?
Anyways, and I assume that the title is that we see parts where she used to be like a comedian.
Yes, because she doesn't. She feels like she can't be funny anymore after the thing. But you know,
right.
Like all things, you know, you work through it and then eventually you get better. Is the idea it's trying to put out there. So nice message, nice movie.
Cool. It used to be funny. The Hitman, the new Richard Linklater movie starring Glenn Powell, which is crazy.
This man's blowing up. Richard Linklater.
Oh, you heard about this guy?
He's crazy. Again, I think I'm the only one who saw this.
What convinced? Was it Richard Linklater?
Yes, it was Richard Linklater, and that's why I was.
If I had to see one actor that Ryan Lance would not watch a movie for, it'd probably be Glenn Powell.
I like Glenn Powell. He's
really. What'd you like him in?
I liked him in the TV show Scream Queens.
Yeah,
he played a frat bro, and he was hilarious. The best part is they were all after the killer that season was a guy called the Red Devil, and he was like. It was like one night he like talked to all the frat guys like, let's just get out there and find him and like kick his ass, and they just all grab bats, just like roam the streets randomly, and they find like a red car. It's like, I bet that's his car. And then they beat the shit out of it. Absolutely incredible work. His roommate and best friend is Nick Jonas, who is a gay person. He always refers to him as his best gay friend Boone. Absolutely incredible work there. Anyways, Hitman. People really liked this movie. They really responded to it. And I didn't really understand it. So, who Glenn Powell is, he is someone who poses as a hitman. So someone would, let's say you want to kill your wife, Carrie. You want to kill your wife.
Yep.
So you would hire a hitman. So you would... So what the police do is they set up this interview where a fake hitman goes, they do the whole thing, and it's like, okay, if you fully commit to this, the moment you leave this, diner, you will be arrested for attempting to hire a hitman to do something. And he is someone who is hired to, he pretends to be the hitman, and what he likes to do, because he is a professor in sociology and like human condition and if you pretend to be something, you'll eventually become it. I went to college, I know. So he kind of looks at the person, tries to act to be the hitman they want to be. So like sometimes he'll be like a kind of like grimy, like, yeah, I'll get him real good. Sometimes he looks like Patrick Bateman. He's like, I'll take them out. It's all good. And eventually he runs into a woman that he's like, oh my God, you're so pretty. And she thinks he's a hitman, and he because he likes her and understands her situation, he kind of like talks her out of it so she doesn't get arrested. And he's like, I don't know, man. She went out of it. And like, we think you thought she was just a pretty lady. And they're like, no, I swear. So he kind of keeps running into her, and they kind of form a relationship, but he always has to be that personality, basically, that he was when he was around her.
A hitman
personality type, and she thinks she was. And then, wacky stuff happens, and they fuck a whole lot. And it's all like role play stuff. It's not like explicit, but it's like a lot. So I was like, this is weird. But yeah, I just didn't. I just did not connect with it. Maybe part of it was just because, you know, this whole relationship and like love between these two is like built around a lie.
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of it, and it's like, you know, after's like, actually, I'm not this hitman. It's like, well, I love you anyway, and it's like, okay, I don't know about that, but whatever. So I don't know. I just didn't connect with it. It's funny, it's fine, it looks great, but I feel like all Netflix movie, it's gonna just be forgotten about.
This movie, if it was not a Netflix movie, I feel would have made a shit ton of money. Like this is like the what the fuck was that movie?
The Fall Guy.
Kind of, but it was the other normal movie with Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell.
Oh, Anyone But You.
Yeah, this is like normal movie. They don't make them like they used to, except they do on Netflix, I guess. And it's Richard Linklater also, which is weird. But this movie felt like a lot of money was left on the table, in my opinion, for this one.
Well, that's Netflix for you.
That is Netflix for you. Make The Scar Giver Part 3 or whatever the fucking hell.
Thank God.
Anyways, The Bike Riders, a movie I desperately want to watch still, but I have not found the time to. Directed by Jeff Nichols, starring Jodie Comer, Austin Butler, Tom Hardy, Michael Shannon, Mike Feist, Norman Reedus. I don't know who Boyd Holbrook is, but I know everyone else in there. Carrie, this is one you were really looking forward to?
Mm-hmm. I was very excited because this one, they started advertising it forever ago.
Yep.
And it got pushed.
I think it changed distributors.
Yes, it did.
Oh,
it did 100%
probably.
change distributor.
Which is very strange.
Yeah.
I've never seen a distributor start to advertise actually, let's cut our losses.
Writers, original.
We forgot we only watched the trailer with the volume muted, and when we heard Tom Hardy's voice, we can't sell this.
This was originally going to be a 20th century release, and then I got delayed because of the SAG-AFTRA strike, and then Focus Features picked it up.
Interesting.
Good job. But I like this movie. It is about this biker gang, obviously, and the way we're viewing the story is Mike Feist's character is a guy who is writing a book about these guys, and so we're getting these retrospective interviews with all of the members and Jodie Comer as the I think they got married of Austin Butler's wife, and so we're seeing the story play out, but we are also cutting back to them reflecting on what has happened in the past of this biker gang. But I don't remember what the gang is called, but they're based in Chicago. They're called like the Rebels or something. But Tom Hardy wanted to start this biker gang, and he did. And they're all hanging out, and Jodie Comer goes to a bar one night to meet her friend who is doing something with the bike, and it's a biker bar. And she's like, "Oh, all these characters, I don't know about this bar. It's pretty suspicious." And then all of them are really slimy. But then she sees Austin Butler. This movie is the most in love with Austin Butler's face I've ever seen any movie be in love with Austin Butler's face, more so than the film Elvis. It was so funny. Because on that first night where her and Austin Butler meet the first time, there's no less than 3 times where the camera just stops and she lovingly looks at him like, oh my god.
He's cool.
So they get together, and then the rest of the film is the biker gang sort of building its reputation and expanding all over the country, and the tribulations that come with that, and them getting into fights with opposing gangs, but also Jodie Comer being like, I don't want you to be in this biker gang as much anymore, and Tom Hardy being like, he's my right-hand man, I need him in the biker gang. So it's just all these characters through the rise and fall of this biker gang. And it was pretty interesting. I enjoyed it. It's not one that I'll probably ever watch again, but I liked it. It was a good, probably the best, most beautiful version of this kind of biopic-y biker gang type of thing. It's all real stuff.
And you got what you wanted. There's a lot of
silly voices.
colorful actors.
Yes,
In a
A-listers doing silly voices.
Yeah. And this,
I love that.
And Norman Reedus just showing up on his personal motorcycle.
Norman Reedus shows up partway through the movie because he joins the gang, but he was coming to deliver a message or something, but he's from California, so he's just this weird ass guy who shows up, and they're like, "What's this guy about? This California?"
And that was them reacting like, "Why is Norman Reedus here? We told him not to show up."
And Michael Shannon plays the crazy one, obviously, and I loved that because like
That's
they
good.
would do the interview talking about each member and how they joined the gang, and Michael Shannon's character is named like Zip or something. And Jodie Comer's like, "Oh, Zip? I don't know. He was just kind of always there." It's funny. It's a funny movie, and it is really beautifully shot too. It looks really nice.
Is this lightly based on like a real thing? I feel like
this is all real people.
Okay, because I feel like this is like a setup I've heard a lot, or at least like a story like again like a journalist who embeds himself with the biker gang and then chronicles what. Yeah,
it's a real book and it's all real people.
Okay.
And when I went to see the early screening, there was a live stream Q&A afterwards with Jodie Comer and Austin Butler, and they were talking about it a little bit. And Jodie Comer decided she was like grappling with whether she wanted to do just like a general kind of that, I think it's like Boston-ish accent, or if she wanted to try and emulate this specific woman's accent. And they had some of the recordings that the guy had of them, and she just listened to that one a bunch, and she just was like, I have to do this exactly like this because this is awesome. And then they played some of Jodie's takes for Austin, and he was like, well, when are you going to play the stuff that Jodie did? And they're like, this is the stuff that Jodie did. He's like, what?
That's crazy. My God.
So yeah, it's a fun movie.
Okay. All right, that's the Bike Riders. I still want to watch that. What has Jeff Nichols done before? I know that name, right? Maybe?
Yes. He did like Midnight Special, I think.
Oh, yeah, okay,
that
yeah.
would make sense.
I don't think.
Oh, and Mud. He did
Yeah.
Mud.
Yeah.
Which is, if I remember Mud, it's some kids hang out with Matthew McConaughey.
Probably.
That's what that movie's about.
I never watched that one.
Anyways.
And Take Shelter.
Okay.
Which I also wanted to see.
Am I okay? I don't know what this movie is, but it's got my favorite lady, Dakota Johnson.
Say, this seems like George Bait.
I have no idea what this is.
So this is a Max original film.
Okay.
It is written and directed by Tig Notaro and her wife, whose name I do not know.
Stephanie Alien.
Yes, and this is about Dakota Johnson and her best friend, who is Sonia Mizuno, who I think people most know from Devs and also the other robot in Ex Machina.
Oh.
She's in a lot of Alex Garland stuff. I think they're like best friends or something. But like they're best friends in the movie, and Sonia is moving away for work for England, and they're very close, and this kind of like brings out a lot of sadness for Dakota Johnson. They're talking about like, well, why is like, we'll still talk, but why is this so like hard for you? And it kind of becomes apparent, and she comes out as gay. And a lot of this movie is all about, coming out as a lesbian in your 30s when everyone else kind of has already figured that out. And then like how she is going to navigate this, very alien space right now, when she kind of feels like she has to jump in and understand that part of herself before her friend moves away. And I know I said this about the other movies, but this is a very nice film. It's very, it's taking this, coming out story in like a different direction, which I really liked and thought was done very well, with, some nice humor to it, which makes sense from Tig Notaro. And it's just a short, breezy little...
It's an hour and 20-ish minutes.
Yeah, it's just a nice little thing, just a nice little movie. So I don't know what else to really say about it. It kind of goes the way you'd expect a movie
you're
like
on
this
Max,
to go.
the one to watch.
It's
Am
the
I
one to
okay?
watch, yeah.
Okay, cool. That does sound like George Bait then. Okay, cool. All right. The
Talk
Exorcism.
about Carrie Bait.
Oh man. So yeah, this is in the Russell Crowe, I guess, Exorcist cinematic universe.
Yeah, baby.
Where I think somewhere they're fucking the one where he's angry and driving. What the fuck is that one called?
Unhinged.
Yeah, somehow that one's like distantly related to this universe.
That's the joke I made after Pope's Exorcist. I was like, that because he takes in all the demons in that one to try and exorcise them. And I was like, one of those demons laid dormant in there and then came to a head.
One interesting thing I found out about this movie, The Exorcism, a movie where Russell Crowe plays an actor who is basically starring in the Exorcist type of film where he plays a priest giving an exorcism. Mm-hmm. This movie was filmed in 2019 before he made The Pope's Exorcist, but because of COVID, they had to keep delaying the reshoots. So they reshot it after he made The Pope's Exorcist, and now it's out now, which is fascinating.
That is odd.
So that's hilarious.
So there's even more layer to that character.
There's so many layers.
So Russell, you are playing an actor who's not you, who is playing a priest who is performing an exorcism. Now you have been in the film The Pope's Exorcist, who's a separate character, but I want you to bring some of that to this performance here, okay? To these reshoots, to really make this movie sing, and everyone will watch, and everyone knows it exists. Man, that's fascinating. Well, Carrie, did this movie deliver? That's a negative.
So me and Carrie were the only people in this theater. It was 10 o'clock at night on a Monday.
Hell yeah.
So we had a great... I think the experience was great.
The experience was perfect.
The experience was perfect. The movie itself... If you watch this movie by yourself, like locked to a chair, I feel like you would want to kill yourself.
I mean, I rated it 3 stars because I can see the good movie.
There's a good movie in here.
There, but there's so many baffling choices that this movie makes because it feels confusing. Like you're watching it, and you don't know what's going on or why, and I'm like, what happened?
You'd think if he's like, because like the idea is he is in this role, and there's some sort of spiritual element where he is being possessed by a demon. Mm-hmm. While he's acting it out, and you'd think there'd be like more stuff going on set, because that's an interesting place, a film set.
Yeah, for sure.
And film people like stuff that's set around film. But like most of this is just him being weird in his apartment around his daughter.
Yeah.
Like he'd be like, Dad, are you okay? It's like, okay, well, we're gonna go to work tomorrow and you'll be fine, I guess.
Because he's like, an actor who in this universe has like had a very public down spiral. Like he is coming out of rehab, but still not really doing well. And so when he books this role, it's like a big comeback thing for him. And the director's like, I believed in you. I want to put you back on the map. Yada yada. But I don't know. A lot of it's just weird and unnecessarily cruel, like his whole backstory.
His backstory is fucked up. And it's very unsatisfying stuff they do with that backstory, because like there's this part where the director says maybe the most fucked up thing I've heard like
I think so.
In movies to this guy, and like he says it and then he walks away and then you don't see the character ever again.
That man should have been a stain on the street.
Yeah,
outside.
You would think the possessed man would rip his head off after he says that, but no, he's fine. And it's like, well, the movie turned out great. Okay, I would have addressed that to HR, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And like that's only part of it, but like there's a lot of like unsatisfied stuff because it's trying to focus on that father-daughter relationship, which I understand that, but it just feels like there is a lot more that you could do with this idea of like you are filming a movie and this man is possessed by a demon, but he's supposed to be playing someone possessed by a demon, so like there's something there, but you know, maybe the reshoots messed it up.
Yeah, I mean,
who knows?
Now that you're saying that there were reshoots, I'm like, yeah, I can tell. Because when you're watching the movie, it just feels
convoluted.
It feels like I skipped a page or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I would probably still recommend it. I think it's got some good stuff in it, and I love watching Russell Crowe give his all in these fucking silly exorcism movies. But I don't know.
All right.
Not
That's a bummer.
not as fun as I thought it would be.
Dang, you hate
I
to
know.
see it.
I'm sad. I'm sad about it.
All right. Well, that's The Exorcism. A Quiet Place, Day 1. Directed by Michael Saranowski, who's apparently the director of Pigs.
Crazy.
That's wild. Starring Lupita Nyong'o and Joseph Quinn, Alex Wolff, and Demon Hansu, apparently. Wow. All the stars are here.
Apparently, Demon Hansu was in A Quiet Place Part 2.
He was, yes. He's a character.
I don't remember this at all.
He's in the island,
yeah.
yes.
I don't remember
So
A Quiet Place Part 2 at all.
So we see him as Day 1, and he's the link. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the one who saw this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was not interested.
That's totally
I mean,
fair.
I forgot that it was the pig guy until I was remaking these notes, and I was like, oh yeah, what the fuck?
I was just hearing like people really liked this movie, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, people really like this, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
This
Like-
is one that I was like, I'll watch it at home. I don't care.
That-
I don't need the quiet in the theater
yeah.
experience.
But one thing I do like about this movie is that it is, for being a prequel, it is trying to do something different with the concept, because it's being played out much more like a disaster film, because
Is it the city?
it's set in New York, baby, best country in the world. If you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. We all know.
Is that how Lupita talks?
Yeah. And Lupita is a hospice patient.
Oh.
And she is traveling to New York. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. New York City.
It's just in
baby.
parentheses every time you write New York.
Because she goes to see a show with a bunch of other hospice patients, and then while they're all in the middle of a fucking puppet show, the fucking Quiet Place happens. They're like, I'm sorry, but we gotta get out of here. And it's like, why is something happening? I don't know, but we need to leave. And just like goes hard right away. The what are they? Death Angels?
Angels. Yeah,
I don't know about that. They're just like rampaging through the city, just like destroying everything. There's a lot of like helicopters like screaming like, "Everyone be quiet!" And then like you hear like the monsters like run around. It's like,
good.
maybe do it differently than that. So it's kind of playing with that confusion. But because none of the characters know sign language, it's a much more quiet. So like there's no talking, there's a lot more like writing.
I guess that's true, huh?
So there's a lot more of that. One baffling thing about this movie is Joseph Quinn is in all the marketing as the co-lead to Lupita Nyong'o. He shows up halfway through the movie with Lupita Nyong'o has a service cat, which, by the way, as the owner of a cat, my cat would get me killed immediately. In this situation, she is too loud. She would get me killed so quickly. This cat is so quiet, and it is just stays by her side, even though everything's exploding. Not how my cat would work. So I don't know about that, but basically the cat runs off, and he just kind of like emerges from like the waters, like, oh my god, and he sees the cat, and he follows the cat back to her, and he just kind of follows her. And there's parts where it's like, why are you doing this? Like, I don't know.
Okay.
it's and like they explain it a little bit, but it's like it's still strange, and like you don't feel any connection between the two of them. Like they're not both like his goal is just to help her do her goal for some reason. And that's not very interesting.
That's interesting because I feel like that would be like those roles would be gender swapped in another movie, which is something, I guess.
I guess so, but it's still like weird. And then they're just dealing with the Quiet Place stuff, and it just feels very like
things of that nature.
It's like, here's this scenario where we're in the water tube,
right.
and we're always worried about the cat. It's all that. The cat ends up fine. There's nothing happens to the cat, even though it's fucking like drowned, like it goes into like a nest of death angels, and they're like, we gotta sneak the cat out of here. But the story is like nothing, and I like the idea of what they're trying to do here, because basically Lupita's, because she's a hospice patient, she has a different objective while everyone else is trying to leave the island of New York. If you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us, New York City. He just goes off and tries to help her accomplish her goal, and protect the cat. And it's just doesn't do anything for me. Like I like the concept. I like the concept of it being more of a disaster film as opposed to a quiet thrillery kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I think the monsters lend themselves well to that, but I don't know. Just not great. Not a great movie.
Is it better than the other two?
Is
it less... The first one's kind of stupid.
The first one's very stupid.
Yeah, the second one's less stupid.
Yeah, somehow.
Yeah.
Somehow.
It's because Cillian Murphy's there.
That is probably
true.
It. It's probably the same amount. They're probably all about the same.
Okay.
Just this one's a different kind of stupid because the genre is slightly different.
Interesting.
But it's still stupid.
My favorite thing about this is that it really puts into perspective how small potatoes, like the horror movies we like, are. Like right now you have Maxine and Longlegs, and it's sort of like putting two bad bitches against each other, where people are like, wow, this one's doing so much better by like 12 million. One's making 20 million. Motherfucker, A Quiet Place Day 1 has made $200 million.
Jesus.
That is insane.
Jesus.
That is insane money for a horror movie.
And they're still putting that out on digital like really quickly.
Yeah.
I think it's already on digital. Which is like, guys, have a little more faith in your Quiet Place
I don't
movie.
understand. Someone somewhere is like, I don't get it. Like they see it like that's just getting as much money as possible. I guess. I don't know.
I guess they're like, well, there's no return, but like Elemental last year made so much money because it stayed in theaters for so long, and I think the same thing's happening with Inside Out too. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think movies could continue to make money if you leave them in theaters because not everyone can get there in 2 weeks.
And also, I think people just want to go out. I don't know. Yeah. Well, so that was my favorite, fascinating thing about just seeing how popular A Quiet Place. Like it is popular. So
Dads everywhere love it.
It's true, I guess.
Is John Krasinski in it?
No.
Thank God.
He's
the only arching character is Damon Hansu, who I did not remember was in The Quiet Place Part 2.
How dare you?
And also, I do not remember who Alex Wolff was. I feel like I would remember him, but...
Like as a person?
No, I know him as a person. I don't know who his character was. Like,
I can't help you there.
Wait, he was supposed to be a returning character?
No, he's just in this movie, and I don't remember
Brian
who he
sees
was.
his name on the cast list and was like, wait, what?
Oh, I see. Okay,
I was like, I don't...
He was one of the Death Angels.
Oh, that adds up.
Yeah.
This guy was like, I gotta get my boy who was in Pig.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Wow.
And I have no clue what character he could have possibly played. And, I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. Movie's fine if you're a normie.
Damn.
Talk about a prolific motherfucker. Yorgos Lanthimos is back, baby. Kinds of Kindness. Jesse Plemons, Willem Dafoe, Emma Stone, Hong Chow, Margaret Qualley, Mamadou Athie, Joe Alwyn, and Hunter Schafer for 5 seconds.
Right.
Get that paycheck.
And I was gone for 2 of those seconds in the bathroom, so I don't know. So yeah, this is I guess anthology, I guess. Yeah, sure. Except like they're all maybe in the same universe happening at the same time, maybe.
Maybe. It's hard to believe that there's more than one person who looks like Willem Dafoe.
I guess that's true. So yeah, this is finally a movie I could finally talk about. So I guess I'll start with saying
George.
that. Wow. So yeah, Yorgos. I mean, my
man.
I mean, kind of. I really enjoyed The Favorite. I loved Poor Things. Don't understand The Lobster. I haven't seen Killing of a Sacred Deer or Dogtooth. Dogtooth seems good.
There's 2 Yorgos fans, the classics of the news.
So I mean, honestly, I feel like some people who saw Poor Things and liked that maybe watched this and then they're like, oh, what the heck?
What the hell?
So yes, we have 3 different stories with the same cast of characters, the same cast of actors playing different characters, maybe having at the same time, all very different in themes. And yeah, I really liked 2/3 of this movie, but each section is so long. Like it's essentially like an hour. It's essentially like an HBO special of miniseries tied into one thing because each one is like an hour. I loved the first two. I thought it was hilarious, and the third one was, I don't know, weird. And that's unfair. It was not doing much for me. Right. Not enough Jesse Plemons. The first two are very Jesse Plemons focused. That's true. And I love Emma Stone, but this story about the water and everything was just not doing it for me. But if you cut off that last part and just those first two parts, I think I would have loved this movie. It is weird. It has got some stuff. It is funny as hell. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's even though I don't like the last part, I think it's a good time. That's what I will say.
I agree.
And Carrie as the Yorg head.
York head.
I agree with your assessment. I think the first two are the strongest for me personally. The third one, I still liked it, but it just felt... It's weird to be like, it felt like it was a little much about a Yorgos movie, because that's kind of what he does. He likes to be edgy, weirdo guy. Mm-hmm. But, so, it's nothing, well, I don't want to say anything about the content and how people should feel about it. Sure. But it's just like, it's stuff I would expect him to do. And it's stuff that I just don't enjoy watching, personally. But I think I think the rest of the movie makes up enough that it's not something that when that happened, I'm like, oh, I don't like this movie anymore. So
it is weird. Like, if you wanted to be, like, if you wanted to put him in a corner a little bit for this 1 hour, like, little short story, like, so, like, why did you have to put that in that for that character, though? Like, is the, like, I don't get, okay.
Had to get her kicked out of the water cult somehow, and that's, I guess, the only way it would happen.
They seem to have weird rules. I think you could have figured another way to do it.
Because I'm like, again, like, just thinking of me as a writer, right. If I was like, I have a 1 hour story to tell here, and this is gonna happen, because this is super important, and, like, we're gonna, whatever, man, I don't get it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I will.
Sorry, Carrie. I don't know if you were done.
For that third one, I was the most interested in, like, what the resolution of that story would be.
To be fair, the punchline is very funny. The punchline is
yes, and the punchline is great. But, like, I was always curious, like, okay, when this character achieves this goal, what happens? Because, like, it's the most. I think, like, in terms of, like, insanity, the stories get more and more wacky as they go on, because, like, the first one, like, could happen in the real world.
Sure. I guess, sure. Yeah.
It could.
Yeah.
The second one it can be a little bit stretched depending on, like, how you interpret, like, what is happening. Mm-hmm. Like, if you think what's happening is, like, real or imagined or a combination of the two. Yeah. And the third one is just pure bananas. Pure bananas. And it's like, okay, how are we going to resolve this one? So after that happened, I was like, I kind of don't care how this resolves anymore. Now I'm just kind of annoyed because it just feels like a thing occurred that, you know, happened without any.
I think the third one inspires the most questions. It's the biggest concept, I think. Like, the other two feel good. Like, they are anthology size scope of a story. Like, the first, like, without spoilers, like, guy who, like, has to deal with this person and do whatever they want, like, a sort of, like, weird. Second one, like, wife comes back, gets rescued, is not whatever. And then this one's, like, water cult that doesn't, and Emma Stone has, like, a family that she left before, but she wants to, it's a little,
We're looking for a psychic.
Yes.
I think the first story wouldn't work with a different cast of characters, if that makes sense, because it's such a weird story that does, in a way, it does nothing, but, like, because all the characters are so funny and interesting, like, it works. Mm-hmm. And I think similarly to the second one too, but that one's more of like a what's happening here kind of thing.
That's the other thing. Like, this was also like well, I'm trying to think of what are the recent Jesse Plemons movies, and I'm like, I don't see him a lot being funny again, because he's a funny guy. Mm-hmm. He's had funny roles, like, in Game Night. And yeah, like, he's just fucking, he's a funny guy. He understands the effect he has on people, I think, and how he can use that as comedy.
This is a triple dose of Plemons.
But yeah, I look back on this a lot more fondly. Just coming out of that last one, I was like, I don't know, but the first two parts were great. Big fan. So I don't know.
Did this movie do well?
It's a great question. What is expectations for this?
I mean, Poor Things did very well for
that
what
was,
it was.
I think that was a surprise for them.
Yeah.
So let's see. I mean, it couldn't have been that expensive, this one. Poor Things probably a lot expensive. But let's vamp while I look up this information, Ryan.
Oh crap! I'm terrible at that. This movie is funny.
Oh, wow.
It is silly. It is goofy, and I liked it.
I will say that a lot of people are saying this, and I kind of agree with the people because my personal favorite is Killing of a Sacred Deer, and he hasn't hit that stride for me since then. And this is the closest we've gotten.
Yeah,
I think
the second story felt the most like Killing of a Sacred Deer for sure.
Definitely the first two were just like, what the?
Yeah.
And that's what I love about Killing of a Sacred Deer, that it's just insane and everyone's just talking about it flatly and matter-of-factly. It's just so funny.
And Jesse Plemons can handle that dialogue very well. The flat tone, but like updated themes. He does that very well.
Oh, and a budget of $15 million made $9 million, which is a loss, but I don't know what you could expect out of this movie.
Yeah.
I think even if you're Disney, if you hold on, because this movie they held on this for a bit, and they tried to ride the Poor Things wave, and you can't. It's good trailers, but
the trailer doesn't really say much.
No, it doesn't. It's like you gotta kind of be on board for the shit, for the fuckery.
Yeah.
So yeah, and how much did it? Yeah, like Poor Things made $117 million on a budget of 35, which is very good. So. I mean, it's one for him. They're all for him. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know. It's fine. Whatever. Anyways, good stuff. That's June, folks. July. Despicable Me 4, baby. Why is there a minion that's a little round guy and he looks like a Cheeto Puff? Do you know why, Ryan? I haven't seen this. I can't believe I haven't seen a single trailer for this.
Me and Ryan were trying to figure it out because we went to see The Exorcism at Twin Creek, and there was a standee of the minions, and they all look weird.
Yeah.
And they get superpowers, and so they're like Fantastic Four type.
Parallels. Yeah. One of them's the Thing. One of them's stretchy.
Stretchy guy. Yeah. We learned that from, I don't know if they played
I think they played some
played
ads for it before the movie, yeah. We're all in the age group where we kind of just missed Despicable Me.
Yes. I like this. I
liking the first one.
I like the second one too.
Yeah.
But we weren't.
But once it became annoying, the minions became a thing.
The minions wore out their welcome on us very quickly.
Yeah, but now, with all the minion stuff, I feel like we've seen people who are adults now who are just like, yes! Unironically, I don't know anymore. The internet's weird. So, I don't know. I will not be seeing this movie because I have no interest.
No, thank you. Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F, baby, on Netflix. I've never seen a Beverly Hills Cop movie, so I have no idea.
Me neither.
I saw Beverly Hills Ninja, and I guess I'm realizing in hindsight that it was a riff on Beverly Hills Cop.
That makes sense, yeah.
And I like Beverly Hills Ninja.
I haven't seen that one, but I want to. I've seen the first Beverly Hills Cop, but I don't remember a damn thing that happened in it at all. So.
I'm also realizing that was Axel F the song based on this?
I have no idea.
Crazy Frog?
Axel F is the guy's name.
Right. So
that Crazy Frog song is the theme song from this movie.
But just done like a dance
with Crazy Frog noises in it. Yeah. Because I remember.
So I learned that.
I remember watching the first one because I watched it with Greg, because I would never watch this movie on my own. And Greg was like, we gotta watch Beverly Hills Cop. And every time they started playing that song, I would start going bing, bing. And he was like, no, stop it. That's a different song.
They brought back the Crazy Frog, but they took off his penis. And we hate to see that. So.
George, you skipped Robot Dreams. Maybe your list didn't update.
Oh, no, it didn't.
Oh, I did. Okay. I added it.
Robot Dreams is finally coming theatrically.
Yeah.
It was nominated for an Academy Award this year.
Yeah. Most recent awards.
Yeah. It looks very cute.
Looks
I
good.
love the animation. I would like to see it.
Mm-hmm. That was good.
It's about a dog who buys a robot and they become friends.
Sounds good to me.
That's the dream!
Maxine, the third in Ty West trilogy on the Mia Goth, character of Pearl / Maxine. We've already seen it, and we have thoughts on it. Tune in next month. What a disappointing movie. Am I right, folks? No. Mother Couch. I don't know what this is.
This is a trailer that I randomly saw on Twitter, and I'm all in on it. And it's got Ewan McGregor and Ellen Burstyn. And they are, from the looks of the trailer, it's a family that's all at odds, Ewan McGregor and his siblings. And the mom, Ellen Burstyn, decides to try and get them back together by staging a protest of sorts where I think they own a furniture store or something, and she just wants to sit on this couch in the furniture store and not move. And everyone's like, well, what are we gonna do about this? So it just makes the family all come together. And from the trailer, it looks like there's some surreal oddness that happens too, so I'm just interested in that. And I love Ewan McGregor, so I wanted to give it a shout out. I have no idea if it'll play anywhere near here, probably not, but
yeah,
it just seemed fun.
Okay. Fly Me to the Moon. This is the movie with Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum, which takes place during, when we're going to fly to the moon, as the title says. But it's very weird for me to believe that they made men like Channing Tatum back in whenever the hell.
No.
Was it the 50s?
Probably,
yeah.
1969 is when we landed on the moon.
So is my.
Or at least that's what the government wants you to think.
So, yeah.
Yeah, back then is when men working out was they ate a steak for dinner and they smoked the entire cigar in one go. That's what working out was. So I don't think they looked like that.
Sony plus Apple Pictures production from the director who did Love, Simon. Yeah.
This movie looks like nothing.
It does look like nothing, but it is a movie that if it was playing on TV, I'd probably watch it. That's what I gotta say. I like Channing Tatum. I wish Channing Tatum was in more movies. He's not in a lot of movies anymore. I don't get it. I like him. He's funny.
I like him too. I feel like he doesn't have like a thing anymore because his thing was like the
Sexy
21
guy?
Jump Street.
Also
I
that.
feel, but they don't make those anymore. So I don't know. He's kind of like lost his.
He did Jupiter Ascending. Did that hurt?
That probably hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
It hurt all. It hurt all of us collectively.
Didn't hurt Eddie Redmayne somehow, or maybe it did. I don't know. He also hasn't been acting a lot. But I feel like he still had some heat after that. I don't know. Or Mila Kunis. Huh. Maybe Jupiter Ascending.
Jupiter Ascending, the career killer.
Yeah. Who could say?
She's still voicing Meg.
That's
Family
true.
Guy.
Thank goodness.
I get Family Guy shorts on YouTube Shorts, and I was like, oh,
You're
that show's
like,
still
hell
going.
Yeah.
I'm like, finally, back when comedy
I
wasn't
also, unfortunately, got one of those because it was the one where David Lynch is in it. Because I've been looking at a lot of David Lynch interviews. So yes.
All of the David Lynch Family Guy stuff is great content.
Did you leave black coffee for me underneath the Christmas tree? Like, no. Please do so in the future and in the past. And I was like, you know what?
That's
pretty funny. You got me that.
David Lynch also voiced a recurring character on the Cleveland Show.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yes, he is the bartender, and I remember watching some, like a bunch of clips, and my favorite one is like, here's a home movie I made, and like it's him like running after a woman. He's like, and he's like, run faster or I'll catch you, and like that's amazing. That like this man turns down so much. Was like, sure, I'll be on the Cleveland Show.
Because the people who made Gravity Falls wanted him to be the like bad guy triangle
character.
That's
right.
And he was like, nah, but I will be on the
Cleveland Show every episode.
That and the latest Christabel album. Anyways, all right. Long Legs.
Funny guy.
Micah Monroe, Nicolas Cage, Spooky Times, Detective Times. Another movie we have seen and we have opinions on. So yeah.
I think a movie we all want to see twice.
Yes.
I want to watch it again. Yes. I would not mind watching that again tomorrow. Actually, I'm asking Donna Joe after this. It's pretty good. I also want to see Maxine again, but I think I want to watch. There's a It felt really good. Again, spoilers for the podcast that's coming. It felt really good to be watching that movie and people being like hyped, like packed house. So
weird.
Yeah, like it's not A Quiet Place. But you know. Anyways, Twisters, baby! Man, I hope this movie's good. Come the fuck on. This is a Glenn Powell ass movie. I tell you what, man. I can't wait. I love Twister.
Know what? I am not super interested in this, but I will see it.
Thank
if you want to see it. I want
you.
to see it with George, because I know George loves this.
This is the director of Minari.
Yes,
folks.
Yes, that's right.
What the fuck?
So
Shot on film, which is weird. It was like,
Odd, yeah.
guy, you're not filming real Twister.
He became an actual storm chaser.
We're gonna go to Kansas and we're gonna film these fucking fields, and then we're gonna put a fake Twister on
They
them.
were out filming when we had those tornadoes a month or so ago.
If this wasn't a movie George was already hyped for, this would be a movie his wife, who was a big fan of regular movies,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
would be like, we have to see Twister. It's finally a normal movie I can talk with my coworkers about.
There was a conversation about duping you on to watching, like, I don't fucking know, like Blue Velvet on 4K, and then when you get here, we watch The Fall Guy.
Oh, I'd be fine with that. That sounds hilarious.
I'm not gonna watch it by myself. I'd watch it with you guys.
So, yeah,
I would watch The Fall Guy for Dada.
Okay.
That's true. I'll do a nice thing for Donna for once.
If it's for you, no.
Okay.
Dada, yes. Listen,
I
I knew her like 6 months before I met you, so it runs deeper.
So Twisters, the reception has been good. I have a hard time believing it, but I hope it's good. So yeah, because again, it's the negative part of me. It's like, yeah, you brought out an old franchise, dug it up, bring a new one. Why is it? There was always more than one Twister, which it's very weird to me. There was always more than
We got twins!
We got twins!
Oh, this has the guy from Nope in it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
He's great.
The guy who worked at the tech store.
Yeah.
And Nope.
Fries.
Oh, that guy!
He's we got twins! So he's still doing great.
That's great. What's her face from Euphoria, who's also in Nope as his coworker. I haven't seen her at all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is her name like Barbie?
I think her name's Barbie something.
Yeah.
She's in Twisters?
No, I'm just saying that. Well, you mentioned the
He's just thinking
fries.
about-
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you were thinking about Euphoria, and you're like, oh, Euphoria, my favorite show.
Yeah, exactly.
That show's somehow coming back, apparently.
I mean, Twister famously as a movie, like, that person's in this movie? I don't know how many of that future actors of, like, I mean, Glenn Powell's already famous, so. Bill Paxton was already famous, but when he did that. But, you know, Todd Field did not make Tar. Todd Field is in Twister, if you forgot. He's one of the storm chasers in Twister.
Funny.
Yeah. So, yeah, I hope this movie's good. I hope it's not just, like, we dug up a whole thing. Hopefully the Twisters don't look like shit. It's shot on film, I guess, so we'll see.
Hopefully there's a funny cow, like, for the fans.
Yes.
And we'll go, oh! And then all the YouTube videos
We
will
got
have the cow
cows.
in the red circle.
There'll be 2 cows.
Oh my god.
Hopefully they find some drive-in and they're playing Dr. Sleep and then the Twister.
That would be awesome. I would love that.
Anyways, Twisters. Deadpool and Wolverine, folks.
I don't want to be around anymore.
Not to be topical on this podcast, but if you didn't know, Donald Trump got shot. But regardless, someone on Twitter was like, I think we could all agree with this horrible, violent moment that Disney should stop the airing of Wolverine and Deadpool as a moment of solidarity for me.
Jesus.
And here I am to say, folks, that I am free of cringe and I'm looking forward to this movie.
All right.
I'm gonna see this movie.
Those trailers have worn me down, I guess.
I want to like superhero movies again.
That's the other thing.
So bad.
When I watched the trailer for the 5th time after Cabin Fever, when fucking Ryan Reynolds is doing his little spiel, like, big explosion in slow motion, I was like, you know what? It's been a minute. Why not? Let's fucking go, as he says.
Yeah,
sure.
let's go.
And the thing is, like, Deadpool is always supposed to be a fucking shithead, annoying character in the comic books.
Yeah.
So having a curmudgeon like Hugh Jackman be like, you are the fucking worst. Shut the fuck up. Alongside him, it could work.
It could work, yeah.
It could work. I don't know anything about this. Maybe Electro will show up.
I feel like this is gonna be a lot of, like, random Fox X-Men.
Yeah, again, like
Marvel
Elektra.
stuff, like Elektra. And
What
like,
if Colin Farrell comes back as Bullseye?
that'd be amazing. And then he dies immediately.
Yes, I'm Bullseye.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping this is like 2 hours of the best, my favorite part of Doctor Strange, where all the cameos show up and get killed immediately. I would love that.
Awesome.
We paid the tuition of Oscar Isaac's children to get him back in that fucking makeup. So yeah, hopefully this
But
movie
just
is...
the top half.
And there's also something, a meta story of like, if this doesn't work, guys, it's over.
Yeah.
It's cooked. Like, it's done. So we'll see.
I don't know. There are a lot of people who are just Deadpool fans.
Yes,
like,
I know.
My
I know.
parents
Yeah, I
are
know.
excited for this. And like, why and how? You will not understand anything.
Yes, it is very...
You don't know who Kevin Feige
Very
is.
complicated.
I think it doesn't. I think the thing with Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds, for better or worse, he has a capacity to feel like you're in on the joke, even though you have no clue.
Yeah.
He's just like, I know what I'm saying? I do know what you're saying.
Greatest
Ryan."
Showman, am I right? It's
Uh.
like, according to the Panther, The Greatest Showman is a film Hugh Jackman made. Thank God they gave these to everyone to understand all the references that he's
That's
making.
great.
If they
Yeah.
do some Greatest Showman jokes, I'll be in.
Okay.
So that Deadpool and Wolverine, hopefully it's tolerable, and that's all for July, folks. Summer's almost over, and all we got was Inside Out 2, and
Thanks a lot.
and Furiosa, and man, that movie keeps bumming me out the more I think about it. Anyways, Ryan Lance,
Whoa.
are you
my
going
name.
to be rewatching all of those Fox Marvel movies? And
Um,
are you watching Elektra, baby?
I kind of wanted to rewatch.
I'll watch Daredevil with you just because
Whoa.
that seems like a guaranteed thing, and that seems like a stupid fucking movie.
I would be up to rewatching that. It's been a long time since I've seen that. I kind of want to rewatch Days of Future Past
To see if it's any good at all
to see
anymore.
if it's any good. And also because like I feel like that has most of the X-Men characters in it, so I'll be like, oh yeah, Halle Berry.
Which one is that?
That's the one where they go back in time.
Is it the one with James McAvoy?
Yes.
Okay.
All those
One
have
of
James
them.
McAvoy.
Yeah.
This is the
Is that
second.
the one with Oscar Isaac in it?
No.
No, that's the one after. That's the.
This is the one where it begins in the future. And it's like, we gotta go back in time. So they have Wolverine's consciousness go back to his old body, and he's like, I gotta warn you guys about the Days of Future Past. And they're like, the what? Fuck, that hasn't happened yet.
I see.
And it has like
That
a bunch
is
of
what the
characters.
plot of that movie, huh?
Yeah, that's the plot of the movie.
Huh.
But it has like the original 3 X-Men cast like in the beginning, and then it has like the
Was that Matthew Vaughn?
Matthew Vaughn, if I remember, wrote it, but then Brian Singer
Singer,
took over
okay.
directing it.
No.
Thank God.
Oh, well, you know. Anyway, Scary. What are you gonna be doing on Letterboxd? It's not watching Deadpool and Wolverine.
I don't know.
Anything on your watch list that you're planning on checking out? Anything?
We're gonna watch Blood Simple, which I wouldn't watch Blood Simple, but that's also the same day as this horror screening, the mystery screening. Anyways.
My official guess for the next mystery screening is Blade.
Fuck!
Oh!
I'm
Damn.
not sure if I'm right, but I haven't seen that movie, so the clues. I'm just looking at the clues and I'm
Man,
like,
Carrie.
that might be it. I don't know.
Fuck!
I gotta read that
Damn, I really wanted to watch Blood Simple.
Well.
Damn, but I really want to watch Blade. I've never seen
I
it.
really want to maybe watch Blade.
I've seen Blade.
See, but if I'm wrong, then I feel like a jackass.
That's true. Well, you know.
The clues were like ancient texts, lots
Windmill
of blood,
kicks.
windmill
What
kicks.
would they get Wesley Snipes in Deadpool and Wolverine? Because is that Fox?
That's New Line Cinema.
Okay.
So no.
I mean, they still could. That Marvel owns the rights again.
Yeah. Anyways, I will. Well, no one said their letterbox things, did they?
Oh, I am Film Piece at Letterbox. Watch me watch films.
Mm-hmm.
Except when I mean, watch.
All right.
Who watches? Okay.
Try again.
Who watches the watchers of the films? That is me. I oversee all film watchers, and I tell them whether their takes are good or not, and if they're being a little too horny.
Oh,
That's my bit.
Okay.
And I go, stop it. And they're like, no. And I'm
So
like,
you're
"All
those
right."
people.
I'm those people.
Ryan's like, I don't want all this sex scene in my movie.
Yeah, unless I'm cool with it.
Carrie.
You can find me on Letterboxd just by searching my first name, Carrie, Karrie. I also tell people when their takes are bad, but it's usually just Ryan.
Yeah, and that's totally acceptable.
When you gave Twister a 2-star...
I did see it.
I mostly got bored.
Listen, Twister is not a good movie, but it's a great movie.
I just have no
respect
connection to it, and I just kind of got bored.
It just made me, when I saw you put boo on Ryan's review, it reminded me of when I reviewed Twister semi-recently, and you commented something like, hell yeah! It's like George is only present for Twister reviews.
You can find me at J. Cruz Alvarez 26. I might watch Twister. There's a 4K transfer, but I don't know if I have the money to buy that. They made it greener. It's greener because it turns green when the sky turns.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
It wasn't green before.
We do live in tornado country.
That's
Tornado
true.
times.
Yep. Anyways, until next time. Bye bye.